Yeah, I'd like to think of Staff Sergeant Bradley Joe Skelton. He's from Southeast Missouri, and we served together on and off from initially when I enlisted in Bravo Company 1140th out of Perryville, Missouri, and and then I took an active duty position with the battalion down in Cape Girardeau, and so I got to serve with him on. He'd come in on temporary duties. He'd volunteer a lot. He's a volunteer firefighter, and he liked being in the Missouri National Guard and enjoyed serving extra duty whenever he could. When he had time off from work, he'd come in and serve on orders. But we'd go fishing and stuff a lot, and and every once in a while, we'd go have a couple beers after work. He was a good friend, and he had retired after our first deployment with the battalion in 2004. The entire battalion with Alpha, Bravo, and Charlie companies. We went to Iraq, and we all had different engineer missions while we were there. Ours was route clearance, and we came back, and there was like a 2-year break between deployments for guard troops or engineer units anyway. That was our deployment cycle every 2 years. Other units it was more like 6 years, but engineers were kind of in high demand over there, combat engineers, because of our mission. It was roadside bombs, so that was the big threat. So. Clearance operations was a high priority in Iraq and Afghanistan too. But Brad, during our second deployment, we got alerted, and I got a phone call from one of my recruiter buddies, Steve Rhodes. He says, "Hey, Brad wants to get back in." I said, "Isn't he retired?" He's like, "Yeah, he wants to go with you guys over to Iraq." And so I said, "Is he there?" I said, "Put him on the phone, And I told Brad, I said, it's not going to be an easy deployment because I know, because I want to go with you guys. I get a little choked up. So we did, and he was the second guy in our unit to die that year. Sergeant Straughter was at first on the 31st of January, and then 6 days later, Matthew died. So, but. Talking to this dentist, and he was an older gentleman. I bet he was in his 60s, maybe 70s, and he came out of retirement. He goes, I can still work, and he goes, and he was asking me about. He saw the patch on my uniform and was asking me, "Hey, you just lost a couple of guys." And like, yeah. And I was telling him about Brad, how he retired. He goes, "Well, I came out of retirement too, because I figured I'd have to help keep some other dentists from maybe with a family or something having to come over here." He goes, "I can still work. I'm old." And he goes, "Your buddy." It kind of made me feel better because he said, he died doing what he loved to do, being with the guys he loved to be with. He goes, "What a way to go with your boots on," and that made me feel a bit better.